Since the earliest updates of the game, creators have found fame, success, and inspiration through releasing series of levels. In 1.9, one creator's unique new solo level that was released by chance turned into a series of 5 levels that remain very well known and well liked throughout the community, and the series itself has become one of GD's most recognisable and beloved series. Today, we will be going back to the beginning of and exploring the Toxin Lab Series by Xaro, a series of radioactive green levels that were at the forefront of uniqueness when released, balancing awesome gameplay with increasingly innovative and amazing in-level effects, along with epic dubstep tracks which actually went some of the way to realising the potential of one of the game's best musicians. This series is one of the most famous in the GD community, and it even paved the way for the return of arguably the game's best ever creator. The Toxin Lab series has truly been a beloved cornerstone in level series design since its release back in 1.9, so get ready as we are going to be exploring the origins of this great series and how it came to evolve into what we know it as today. The Toxin Lab series started with its creator, Xaro, an Austrian GD player and creator who has now become one of the first elder mods in the game. But at this point in early 2015, Xaro had under 100 subscribers on YouTube and was an entirely unknown player. He had a few levels on his account and 2 of them were featured, but nothing too serious or special to make him stand out. However, one day, Xaro was experimenting in the editor for a level he had planned named Xaro Step. When he reached the UFO section of this level, he ran out of ideas of what to include and how to design it. Whilst attempting to gain some artistic inspiration, Xaro began experimenting with green colour types and changes, and was instantly drawn to how it stood out and what could be done with it. Inspired, he closed Xaro Step and started building an entirely green themed level, which laid the foundations for his first landmark level in the series. On March 26, 2015, Xaro released the first ever preview for his new level, Toxin Lab. It used the now ultra popular dubstep song Supernova by Xaro I, a track which now has over 1 million hits on YouTube. While the level looked okay for a 1.9 level, looking at this now seems an almost different planet to what the series has become. But it was these humble origins that would lay the foundations for the level to create the series. 3 days later, on March 29th, Xaro released a second preview. There was more decoration added and more green style effects. The song positioning had been altered from the second drop to the first too, and the level was quickly starting to come together, combining a good style, gameplay, and unique art by Xaro. He was building it quickly, and the wave game mode especially looked awesome. That same day, Xaro uploaded a third preview, quickly investing all his creating time in his new project. We saw more cool effects at the wave, and the level was looking to become a rate-worthy potential demon of 1.9. A day later, Xaro released the fourth preview, featuring gameplay from the drop only, and shortly after he released the final 5th preview, showing everything in one run, with more complete gameplay to couple it. After the sudden surge in activity over the past few days, Xaro stopped uploading previews after this and switched to finalising and perfecting his new level. 2 weeks later, on April the 13th, he released an official sneak peek, which showed the finalised decoration for all parts of the layout that had been covered in the previews, and 3 days later, on April 16th, he verified and released Toxin Lab, the first level in what would become his most famous series. It was featured quickly, becoming his 3rd featured level. The video quickly gained attention, exceeding 20,000 views as opposed to Xaro's usual 300 to 800 views. He quickly raced past 100 subs and had officially announced himself as a more unique creator than most. Toxin Lab, while featured, was actually only rated 9-star, a decision many criticised RobTop for, as people were hoping it would achieve a demon rating. But nevertheless, Xaro would soon become more active as a creator, and a sequel wasn't far away. Xaro spent the next 2 months allowing the dust to settle, and in the meantime worked on a few other projects. He began to organise collabs, including a mega collab named Scream Room, which became his primary project for a short period. He also started expanding his content, releasing top 10s as well as level completion videos, to show people he could both play, create and commentate on the community. He began to grow his profile, and in June 2015, he's set to work on the next instalment of the Toxin Lab series, with the first being by far his most popular project to date. On June the 4th, Xaro uploaded a work-in-progress video of Toxin Lab 2. It was mostly a layout, but he had again decorated the beginning with his familiar radioactive green style. Something else we noticed was that this level was to use the second drop of Supernova, something the original Toxin Lab was planned to use. Even Sapunj, a creator really starting to take off with excellent levels, praised the layout and how good it looked. Later on that day, Xaro released the first preview. It didn't get too much attention at about 500 views, but it was well received by its small audience. 2 days later, he uploaded another preview, updating the decoration. The sync was better and the level was starting to show signs of becoming a flagship effect level. Toxin Lab had been an effect level, but Xaro was starting to experiment with better effects and more detailed decorations, which would soon catch the eye of someone else who was redefining effect levels in 1.92. On June the 7th, he released an official preview of the drop decoration. It looked insane, if a little brief. Toxin Lab 2 was looking to build hugely on its predecessor. 2 days later, he would release a fourth official preview, by far the best, longest and most developed preview. It showcased amazing sync, great gameplay, and a lot of the developing level. This looked to be a sequel that would not disappoint. As hype for Toxin Lab 2 continued to grow and manifest, Xaro set to work on some other projects. But it was clear to see how fan support for the series and the theming he had adopted was influencing his other work. One of his previews had similar gameplay and once again used the song Supernova by Xaro. Within 5 days, the level was all but completed, and a mere 3 days later, he got 86% on the verification. That same day, it was verified and released. This level was viewed as one of 1.9's easiest demons, and a strange paradox emerged, with many arguing that the original was indeed harder than this new level, but this edition had received a demon rating. Easy demon or not, Xaro had outdone himself again, using 1.9 to a much fuller capacity to create an effect-driven complete level that balanced the original gameplay along with the effects, something that is increasingly dividing these days. If anything proved that this level was an amazing effect level, it was that shortly after the verification, arguably Geometry Dash's best creator at the time, Funny Game, left a comment on the level, labelling it a really good dubstep. Funny Game was the king of effect levels at this point, having completely changed Geometry Dash in 1.9 with his two levels, Revolution and Another World. Praise on such a level from Funny Game was as high as it came, and this wouldn't be the end of Funny Game's interaction with the level either. But in the meantime, Xaro took a break from designing Toxin Lab levels, once again in order to allow his latest work to grow and attract fame. With hype for the Toxin Lab levels at an all-time high, and many fans immediately demanding a third chapter, we didn't have to wait long to see Xaro set out his plans for the next instalment. He left the series for about a month after Toxin Lab 2's verification, and in this period set out to work on some other side projects, including building a part for Ultraviolet, an extremely anticipated up-and-coming sequel to Trust's mega collab Infrared. After this, he hit 500 and 600 subscribers on YouTube, and within a fortnight, he released the preliminary information surrounding the third chapter of his new famous series. On July the 22nd, Xaro shouted out the DJ behind the dubstep tracks for the Toxin Lab series, Xaro, back when he was far more unknown. He praised him for making such epic songs, and claimed that Xaro's song collaboration with the DJ Panda Party called Sheol would be the next theme for the next level. He also revealed that he planned to make Toxin Lab 3 much harder, potentially all the way to Hell Demon. Xaro was thankful to Xaro, and ironically left a comment praising the Geometry Dash community, pretty different to his opinion of us now. In the meantime, while hype began to gradually build, Xaro continued working on collab parts, top 10s, and such other content. Further evidence of the series' growing popularity emerged when in late August, Xaro featured a fan-made remake of the drop of Toxin Lab 2 on his channel, which used a different colour scheme and a different song. Ironically, people actually began to misinterpret this as the third chapter, and so following this, Xaro released more information. On August the 27th, Xaro announced that the theme for the third instalment would instead be Ego Death, another one of Xaro's popular tracks. Whereas Toxin Lab 1 and 2 were very similar, it seemed the third chapter would shake up the formula a bit, and with 2.0 having just been released, bringing a world of new development possibilities to GD, the third level had all the ingredients to once again pull it out the bag. With the layout previewed, people were excited for work to start. During the month of September, Xaro instead switched to working on a Supernova theme level he previewed before, now named Uplink, for his first big release of 2.0. However, on the 22nd, Xaro re-uploaded a more developed layout with new 2.0 features which grossed nearly 7,000 views. Even Xaro commented on the hype for the level. Moving into October, he considered a range of options by trying out many different gameplay styles at the drop. By October the 11th, he had released the first official preview which showcased decoration that managed to be a cut above what had already come out, thanks to the new capabilities of 2.0. He carried on uploading previews, with each getting between 5,000 and 6,000 views. As Xaro started growing faster, he continued to experiment with innovative design, including an earthquake effect, which was another fan-made asset to the series. On October the 16th, Xaro previewed Toxin Lab 3 with an innovative new crack effect at the drop. These were some of the best effects the series had seen. After this point, he hit 2,000 subscribers and even earned himself a collaboration with the number 3 build creator Experience Dawn. But there would be some slight setback. In late October, Xaro lost pretty much all of the decoration and layout thanks to an editor bug, and so he announced a delay in its imminent arrival. But undeterred, he set to work on redesigning all the lost parts and only delayed the level by about 2 weeks. On November the 1st, he previewed a new look drop gameplay sequence on his channel with new effects that had been remade. But this gave him the chance to ensure everything he had experimented with up until that point could be implemented to its maximum potential. By November the 15th, Toxin Lab 3 was verified. It was much harder and so was verified by Mazel1997. It was the biggest video project on Xaro's channel so far, grossing over 140,000 views and getting attention from the likes of Eric Van Wilderman, who were also starting to feature Toxin Lab levels on their channels. It was easily one of the best levels of 2.0 so far, and 2.0's capabilities helped transition the series into a far more detailed effects series. Once again, Xaro had delivered on expectations, and with 3 great levels, Xaro became a well-known creator and effect gameplay creator in the community. The series even featured in Viprin's top 5 level series video to further illustrate the attention it was receiving from the top influencers in the game. Following the 3rd chapter, Xaro had no immediate plans to continue the series, and once again started to work on some other projects. His first project was a secret mega collab later revealed to be called Infernal Army, and as a more looked up to and respected creator, he revealed his own creator contest. Xaro began to use his newfound fame and fan base to broaden his horizons, but elsewhere in GD, the creating community was preparing to mourn a big loss to the game. On December the 5th, Sapunj uploaded the Honourable Final, a collab with the one and only Funny Game, who had been turning heads in 2.0 with his solo level Sirius. Rumours that were spreading around the community were then confirmed by Sapunj himself. The Honourable Final would be Funny Game's final collaboration project. Following this, Funny Game unofficially quit Geometry Dash, leaving the entire creating community in turmoil. Funny Game was easily the most influential creator from the mid-updates to now, and was renowned for always being the one to discover the true capacity of every update. However, he did not stay departed for long. Moving into 2016, on January the 22nd, Xaro previewed a remake of Toxin Lab 2 on his channel, but what shocked people is that Xaro announced that it would mark the return of Funny Game himself, as he would be working on the project. Funny Game had praised Toxin Lab 2 back in 1.9, and so this seemed to be a fitting return for him. The collab would be named Deadly Impact, and would add Toxin Lab 3 style effects and then some to the famous late 1.9 level. Admittedly, public opinion held that Funny Game should actually help Xaro with the Toxin Lab 4 installment instead, but with no plans to release a 4th installment, this was a unique opportunity to further both the Toxin Lab series and Funny Game's career that was now seemingly at risk. There wasn't a whole lot in the way of previews. Xaro didn't release 5 previews prior like he did with other levels, but he reaffirmed that the level was coming, and on February the 28th, 2016, the fruits of the discrete development process were revealed. The effects in this level were so developed and well made, yet again Xaro had raised the bar, and with such an esteemed GD personality to assist him, you'd expect such high standards to be achieved. Interestingly, the release of Deadly Impact was not such a big event in the community, as the low-key development process didn't allow for a lot of hype to be built around the level, and also people were only waiting for news of Toxin Lab 4. But this was a hugely important event to GD, and marked the return of Funny Game, who went on to amaze the community with a 6-minute masterpiece known as Lonely Travel. The Toxin Lab series now stood at 4 amazing levels, each excelling from the last. And the esteemed series even arguably inspired other effect creators to release their own takes on scientific theme levels with extra long music. It is my opinion that without the Toxin Lab series, the Fusion series by Manic648 simply wouldn't have come to be, and how relevant has that 3rd chapter in that series become to the community now? Xaro had a much more quiet 2016 for the remainder. He was a presence in the community but did not do that much past hanging around, occasionally beating levels, so to remind everybody he could still play the game. In July, he was even appointed a GD moderator by RobTop, something I think the success of the Toxin Lab series was instrumental in the happening of. In early July, Xaro released a popular video which grossed around 80,000 views, showcasing his unfinished levels. A layout for Toxin Lab 4 was showcased, and hype for the series' continuation began to stir again. Xaro elaborated on this by saying that the level was originally dead, but he would be reviving it soon. On August the 1st, Xaro previewed the new Toxin Lab 4 layout for his 8,000 subscriber special, different to the one he had shown before. Once again, a Toxin Lab 4 preview on his channel grossed 80,000 views, showing how renowned the series had become. It showed a new song and a great new layout of gameplay Xaro was proud of, but after this, progress would slow exponentially as Xaro took a huge break from YouTube. In October 2016, he returned and explained that he preferred Twitch to the YouTube platform, and this was behind his inactivity. Also, the removal of Extra Law's music from Newgrounds for a time threw the future of this series up in the air once again, with Extra Law's music being so key to the series. This would eventually be resolved, but would continue to delay the building process of this delicate new development prospect. We would have to wait well into the new year of 2017 before we would see any more progress, as just shy of a year after Deadly Impact's release, Xaro uploaded a video of a partially completed Toxin Lab 4 level being played by Stormfly. Xaro soon explained that his inactivity was also due to him being unable to record on his PC after transitioning from Everyplay. However, Xaro was still working on finishing and verifying the level, and following surpassing 10,000 subscribers, hype was beginning again. And, following the preview, we didn't have to wait long, as on February the 17th, 2017, Xaro released one of the most hyped levels of 2.1, Toxin Lab 4. It used an epic song, and some of the decoration was quite different, but it was quite short and not all that exciting. This level in fact divided the Toxin Lab fanbase, with some saying it was boring and that it failed to live up to the hype, and others saying that it sufficed. Xaro seemed disappointed in himself. After being convinced by Loser Chick to bring the series back, he felt as if he'd failed to deliver. However, with such a long-awaited and fragile development process, and the transitioning of updates between GD, which raised expectations even further, lightning failing to strike this time was always on the cards. Toxin Lab 4 was meant to be the end of this documentary, back when I first started planning it in March 2017. However, since then and throughout the year, Xaro has started uploading again, albeit briefly and occasionally. But what we have seen is signs that the adventure will begin again, as this summer, on July the 8th, Xaro uploaded a layout for the 5th chapter in the Toxin Lab series. It returned to familiar roots as it used the song of Toxin Lab 3, Ego Death, and the layout has grossed 38,000 views on YouTube. This time around, it's a purely 2.1 layout that was started within the update, and all the potential for a new adventure has opened again. With Xaro now receiving the role of Elder Mod in 2.11, he will have more expectation on him to deliver a brilliant level. So while it's been a bit dormant recently, I wonder where this venture will go following this documentary. Ultimately, the Toxin Lab series was a series born from a level that was created in a moment of blind creativity, but after developing and continually raising the standards each time, Xaro delivered a trilogy which became one of GD's most recognisable series. The series became so renowned that it even opened the path for GD's best creator to return to the game, delivering another amazing level. Xaro has been more inactive recently, releasing only one level since Toxin Lab 4, but his favour from RobTop and his now veteran positioning in the community owes an awful lot to his most popular series that helped differentiate and announce him as a creator. While it's true the series has lagged more recently, the slate is clean once again, as Xaro prepares to make his 5th instalment to the series, and first as an Elder Mod. Who knows what is next for the Toxin Lab series? Who knows what the next Toxin Lab level will be like? Nobody can predict what Xaro will do with it, but one thing is for sure, it will be a huge event when released, and will surely be an awesome spectacle in effect creating, and excellent gameplay creating, and balancing of the two, but for now we'll just have to wait and see. I thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to view Xaro's channel, I will link it in the description. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and checking out some of my other content, as it really helps me out. If we could hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2017, that would be amazing. Thank you so much guys, I'll see you all soon.